Welcome to Joy for the Journey, the podcast where we explore the winding paths of purpose, faith, and joy. I'm your host, Joy, and I'm thrilled to embark on this transformative journey with you. Are you a woman seeking more than just existence and a soul yearning for fulfillment, purpose, and unwavering joy? Well, you're not alone. In this sacred space, we'll navigate the highs and lows, the doubts and triumphs, and the divine whispers guiding us toward our true calling. Through candid conversations, inspiring stories, and practical insights, Joy for the Journey is your compass, your confidant, and your catalyst for embracing the abundant life God intends for you. So if you're ready to reclaim your joy, renew your hope, and rediscover the woman God created you to be, join me on this adventure. Let's walk together step by step towards a life filled with purpose, passion, and unbridled joy. This is Joy for the Journey. Welcome aboard. Hey, it's Joy Jackson of Speaking of Joy, and welcome to Joy for the Journey. As I always say, I don't take it lightly that you are spending your time with me, so I want to always acknowledge you and say thank you. Thank you for listening to the Joy for the Journey podcast. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Thank you for being on this journey with me, and I pray that the journey is going exceptional for you as well, because I got some things to talk about today. Y'all, I am overwhelmed. Yep. As a matter of fact, I was sitting down having dinner with Steven, and I said to him, I'm overwhelmed. He didn't know what to do with that. But I sat with it because I'm like, why am I overwhelmed? And I started thinking about the things that I have on my plate. So I've got this new part-time job. I've got the full-time Speaking of Joy. I've got the podcast. I've got emails that I write. I've got content that I'm developing. I'm on the board of directors for the PTO at my girl's school. Looked at myself today and I'm like, man, I need to get back into the gym. So I'm trying to do so many things, and I'm grateful for the opportunities, but it's a lot. So this episode is for the woman who's like, yep, Joy, I'm with you. I got a lot going on. Y'all saw that meme that says, so I'm supposed to be a wife, a mother, cook, clean, wash, go to the gym, work out, go to the grocery store, have a full-time job, and all these things in one day? Like, who does that? And I don't care what people say, I ain't Superwoman. And I'm missing the mark in some areas because try as I may, I can't get it all done. But here's what I realized as I was trying to identify why I'm overwhelmed. It's truly because I don't know how to say no. There, I said it. Biggest confession of the Joy for the Journey podcast. I don't know how to say no. I don't know how to say no to people I love. I don't know how to say no to strangers. I don't know how to say no to clients. I struggle with saying no. And because I struggle with saying no, I find myself being obligated in areas that I know I don't need to be obligated in. I find myself committing to things that I know I don't need to commit to. And then I find myself disappointing me and others when I can't follow through on the things that I say I'm going to do. I got great intentions. And for the most part, I thank God that I am able to fulfill the obligations that I have. But in an effort to do that and not clearly say no when I know no should be the answer, you like that? And not clearly say no when I know no should be the answer, I'm overwhelmed. So if you are someone who's sitting here right now and you're like, yeah, I'm overwhelmed too, I challenge you to identify why you're overwhelmed. And for most of us, it's not because we're working too hard. That could be it, but it's not because we are doing too much at home or outside of the home, although that could be it. I believe that many of us are overwhelmed because we don't know how to say no. And I know people always say, well, no is a complete sentence. Well, good for you if you can leave no as a complete sentence. That ain't never been my testimony. And so I started to sit here literally and write down why I struggle with saying no. Unfortunately, I came up with 5 reasons, and maybe one of these reasons will help you too. So the biggest reason that I struggle with saying no, which is so absolutely crazy, is FOMO. That fear of missing out will have me saying yes to stuff, yes to people, yes to opportunities, yes to experiences, because I don't want to miss out on anything. Whether it's an opportunity, whether it's a job, whether it's the ability to hang out with my girlfriends, whether it's a new experience, if it's something that I want to do, I'm going to say yes because I don't want to miss it. But in an effort to not miss it, I'm obligating myself. And usually I'll say yes before I know the time. I'll say yes before I know the activity. I'll say yes before I've even thought about what it's going to cost me. I just don't want to miss it, so I'm going to say yes. Anybody like that? I'm just going to say yes. And so I struggle with saying no, because what if I miss something? And what if this is the moment that something dynamic happens? What if this is the moment that there's an inside joke that I don't know about? What if this is the moment that the door that I've been waiting for will open? And so because that's how I think, I'm always saying yes. What have I learned? I ain't missed nothing. And if I missed it, it meant that it wasn't for me. It meant that I wasn't supposed to be there. It meant that God had a different plan. And if it's really meant for me, it's going to come back to me. So that's the first reason. Real simple, FOMO. Another reason why I really struggle with saying no is because sometimes I feel a sense of guilt. And if it's not guilt, it's obligation. So because of who you are to me, because of the relationship that we have, because of me not wanting to look a certain way, I will say yes. I don't want to disappoint anyone. I don't want anyone to say, you can't count on Joy. She's not going to be there for you. She's not dependable. So I find myself obligating myself. And what's really crazy about that is I used to always say, it's hard for me to live up to other people's expectations. But in essence, I'm kind of living up to my own impossible expectations. Because I can't be everywhere at one time. I can't be all things to all people. But try as I may, I'm not God and I'm not that good. So I've guilted myself into saying yes when I know good and well I should probably be saying no. But because of the relationships that I have with people and because I value loyalty, I'm going to always extend myself to a fault. And then I look up. And really, let me say this is not even a part of it. But then I find myself disappointed when other people don't do it. Or when they flat out tell me, no, I'm in my feelings about that. But I have the ability to say no too. And so then when I don't say no, I'm obligated. And that tugs at me because I want to be a woman of my word, because that's what I was taught. My grandmother, my mom used to always say, if your word ain't nothing, you ain't nothing. So now I've said I'm going to do it. I don't believe in lying. So now I'm obligated to do it. I'm obligated to be there. I'm obligated to commit to it. And now I'm overwhelmed. So that's another reason why I struggle with saying no. Third reason I struggle with saying no is because I really desire to be helpful. I mean, that's my nature. My nature is to give. My nature is to be helpful. My nature is to be supportive. My nature is to always show up and be present for people and for things and opportunities. And in any way that I can lend a hand, I do. Sometimes I'm not even asked to lend a hand. I just jump in. Another podcast topic. But when I do that, my desire to be helpful can all of a sudden turn into me obligating myself in ways that I cannot meet or fulfill. And then there are other times that I'm asked for help, and I don't know how to say no to that either, because I take it as, oh my gosh, they've asked me for help. If they asked me for help, that means I've got to help them. If they've asked me for help, that means they value me. And so now I got to say yes, because they could have asked anybody. But they asked me, so now I have to say yes. So my desire to be helpful, my desire to support has caused me to be overwhelmed, has caused me to say yes when I should say no. I remember Steve Harvey said one time, if you ever want to know if people really need your help when they call you, let a few days pass. Because most of the time when you call them back after a few days and ask them, is everything okay? They figured it out. And the funny thing is, I tell my clients this, like, people will figure it out. But if I'm sitting in my truth today, my desire to be helpful sometimes causes me to not say no. Which brings me to number 4, which is the one that probably stings the most. Much of this stems from really my lack of value in myself. Because I want to be liked, because I want to be appreciated, because I want to be seen as a person you can count on, because I want you to think those good things of me, I will prioritize you over me, and I'm going to say yes. Because it's important that you view me a certain way, I'm going to say yes. As if my no will change what you think about me. Caveat, if my no does change what you think about me, then I didn't need you in my life anyway. But I struggle with saying no because what will no look like after I say it? Will they not trust me? Will they not call me? Will they not invite me again? Will that door close? Will that opportunity pass? So why put myself in a position where I have to see what that looks like and be disappointed? So I tend to say yes. Some people call it people pleasing. Heard of that before? I don't even think it's people pleasing. And even if that's the word we use, people pleasing occurs because I don't value myself. Because if I did, then my time, my energy, my resources would all be taken into consideration before I say yes. And then the last one, I just don't want any trouble. Not interested in conflict, not interested in confrontations, not interested in disagreement, not interested in having words back and forth, not interested in any of that. So I will say yes to avoid any confusion. No good and well, I don't want to do it. No good and well, I don't have time. But I am not interested in having a discussion about it. And so if I believe that it'll lead to a discussion, I'm just going to say yes. So my no's are coming so few and far between because I don't want any conflict. Now, as some people, they will say, oh yeah, Joy loves to debate. Yeah, I do. I don't mind that. But if it's going to lead to a disagreement or going to lead to us not being in harmony, I don't want to do it. So I don't tend to say no because it may hurt our relationship, because it may cause us to fall out. And I just rather not. Just that simple. So I'll avoid conflict by saying yes. One of the things that I will say that is truly a testament to who God is and not to me, because I can't do any of this out of my own might, is that usually when I say yes, it's done. Usually when I obligate myself, I do it. Usually when I commit, I follow through. That's God, because Joy would want to call you back and be like, I can't do it. Or Joy would want to just sit in the middle of the floor sometimes and cry because I have just extended myself beyond capacity. There's a word we always talk about, capacity. That's the amount of which you can hold something. And honestly, some of us, including myself, especially today, feels like I'm at capacity. And this ain't my cup runneth over situation. This is, don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. Yes, it's like a jungle sometime. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. Like that's where I am right now. And when I sat with all of that, I had to acknowledge, Joy, you got here on your own because you didn't do what you've encouraged your clients to do. You didn't do what the Holy Spirit told you to do. See, everything goes back to the truth about how we're living and what we're doing and how we're obeying God. There are some things that I know I should not have said yes to because the Holy Spirit was like, don't do that. But instead, because I want to be liked, I want to be known, because I don't want to have conflict, because I really do want to be helpful, because I don't want any guilt on the back end, because I don't want to miss out, I've said yes. And so now that I'm overwhelmed, now that I'm tired, now that I find myself a little more snappy with people, now that all of those things are happening, that ain't the devil. That's Joy doing too much. So as I have sat here today to tell myself I'm doing too much, let me tell you, sister, you might be doing too much. If you feel overwhelmed, if you feel exhausted, and there's a difference between being tired and exhausted. Usually tired means I just need to let my body rest. Means I need to go to sleep. Exhaustion is when I'm running on fumes. Think about exhaust. Exhaust is like a fume. So exhaustion means I'm running on fumes. I don't have much left to give. I'm at the end of my rope. I'm trying to hold on. But if I get one more request, if I get one more ask, if I get one more person coming to me with something that they need, I might explode. That's a sign that you need to reevaluate what's on your plate. And some of us use dinner plates to pile on all the things we have to do. Traditional American dinner plates are 10 to 12 inches wide. Think about how big that plate is. 10 to 12 inches wide. That's a huge plate. The smallest American plate is a bread and butter plate, which is 6 inches wide. So many of us are taking the 6-inch wide plate, but piling 10 to 12 inch wide responsibilities onto the plate. And we wonder why it's falling over. We're wondering why we can't find anything. We're wondering why we can't do it. It's because we've overextended and over-obligated ourselves. And if we're backing that train up, it's because we didn't say no. It's because we didn't know how to say no. It's because we didn't feel comfortable saying no. And what I had to realize about comfort and saying no is I've told myself this story that I'm not comfortable saying no to them, or comfortable saying no to this, or comfortable saying no because of this. When in actuality, I'm not comfortable saying no because of joy. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It has nothing to do with any other circumstance or opportunity. I have a hard time saying no because of joy. Because joy has created stories and narratives in my own head about what saying no will do, about what saying no will have me look like, about what saying no will cause me, and about what saying no will actually cost me. So it's all me. And so if you are a sister right now listening to this podcast and you're like, amen, Joy, right along with you. Yes, we are a sisterhood. Then first, welcome to the club. Second, I'm glad I'm not alone. And third, how do we get out of it? I'll tell you. There are 3 things that I am committing to implement that are going to help me with being able to say no. And I'm going to challenge you to do the same thing. Really simple. 3 things that we can do to help us say no. The first one, the second one, and the third one are all to say no. I know. We have to practice saying no. We have to literally practice saying no, because if it's not natural for you, you have to practice to get better. And you can say no. However we want to practice it, but we have to practice saying no. And then when we say no, we've got to let it go. Say no and let it go. Because I don't know about you, but when I say no, I start thinking about all the things that could come back. Oh, I can't believe I say no. I wonder what they're thinking. Maybe I should go back and tell them yes. I hope they get it taken care of. Should I have told them no? Well, maybe I can squeeze it in. Okay. I'm gonna stick with the no. Yeah, but I really want to help them. Well, I really want to be there. It's been a long time since they've asked me to do that. Let's see. Let me look at my calendar. Can I get a witness? So when we say no, we've got to move on. When we say no, we have to stand in that conviction that that is our response. Come what may, whatever the outcome may be, whatever the fallout may be, I have the right to say no, and I'm going to say it. And here are the real reasons why we should say no. Okay, so the first reason we need to say no is to set clear boundaries. And boundaries are not, we did a whole episode on boundaries. Boundaries are used for my protection. And so if I'm overwhelmed, if I'm exhausted, if I'm tired, if I'm frustrated, if I'm dealing with all of these types of negative emotions, it's because I need to set some healthy boundaries. So sometimes no just protects me, protects my time, protects my energy, protects my space, protects my peace, protects my joy, protects my family, protects my money, protects my body, whatever it is. So sometimes I got to understand that no is setting a boundary. And then for some people, I need to say no so that they know they can't continue to pull from me. When you're a natural giver, people will pull from you because they know they can't. I don't blame them. As a matter of fact, Iyanla Vanzant said something that I thought was so powerful. She was doing an episode of Iyanla Fix My Life, and a lady kept talking about how she had been used by people. And she was just like, I can't believe they used me, and they just used me and left me nothing. And Iyanla said, no, sweetie, they didn't use you. You had what they needed and you made it available. So that's my new motto on using. But I will say, when people know they can come to you, they will. And that's a beautiful thing, to be a resource. But if it comes to the point where you can't say no because you're that resource, you need to set some healthy boundaries. So no helps us set those boundaries because it establishes what I will and will not do, what I will and will not allow, what I will and will not support, what I will and will not participate in. Whatever it is, that's what that no does. So it sets the boundaries, teaches people how to treat us, how to approach us. And it lets people know what we're willing to do and what we're willing to sacrifice. Because when I say yes, there is some type of sacrifice that may happen. So that boundary protects me. The second reason that I need to learn to say no, and this is Joy's right here, so I can stay focused. When I say yes to too many things, I'm all over the place. Have you ever just felt like your mind was racing and you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know where I'm supposed to be going. I don't know where I'm supposed to be right now. And we're struggling to figure that out because in reality, we've said yes to too many things. And when we say yes to too many things, we can't stay focused on the things we need to. The things of God, the things of our family, the things of our jobs, the things of our businesses, whatever those things are that we know we need to be doing, because that's what gives us joy. That's what gives us peace. That's what gives us life. We can't do those things because we're in other areas. We're dibbling and dabbling. We got squirrel moments where we start down here like, ooh, and we do something else. Ooh, and we do something else. So when I say no, it keeps me laser focused on the things that I need to get done. When I say no, it's not that I don't want to or not that I'm not able to. It's because I have other priorities. I have other responsibilities, other obligations that I choose. So when I say no, it allows me to focus on what is important for me in that moment, in that season, in that time. So if you feel like you're unfocused, start thinking about all the yeses that you've put out there. And the final reason that we need to learn to say no is because it's the healthiest form of self-care. When I say no, I'm prioritizing myself. Now, I'm not saying if I'm saying no because I just want to be difficult. I'm saying when I recognize that I'm overwhelmed, that I'm doing too much, when I say no, I'm prioritizing my health, my physical health, my mental health, my emotional health, my spiritual health, my financial health, my social health, my psychological health. I can go on and on. And that for me is what self-care is really all about. It's not necessarily about going and get a mani-pedi. It's about caring for myself in totality. And sometimes when I overcommit and overobligate and I say yes to too many things, it's at the expense of me. It's at the expense of my time. It's at the expense of my energy. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's at the expense of my relationship with Christ. Sometimes it's at the expense of my relationship with others. And that is not caring for myself. So when I say no, I am putting the focus back on me so that if I do say yes, I know what I'm saying yes to, and I know why I'm saying yes. And I know that I'm saying yes because I can. So self-care is not just about being able to take care of myself. It's about providing the wellness that I need in order to do the things that I'm committing to doing. So many times when we are obligating ourselves or saying yes to so many things, we do it, but it's not our best. I remember in college, people used to always say, ooh, I procrastinate, but I do my best work when I procrastinate. Here's what I used to always say. That's the only work you ever have done. So it's not your best work. It's the best of the work you've ever done. That's the only work you can do. So think about if we stopped filling our time and our agendas with so many other things. How great could the things be that we put our hands to? If we did not overextend, if we did not people please, if we did not try to do everything and be everything. So in reality, I got to work on saying no. In reality, I got to work on the reasons I don't say no. And then I've got to value myself enough to say no. And more importantly, I've got to value my relationship with God enough to say no. So here's to the woman that loves herself enough to say yes and loves herself enough to say no. I'll talk to you soon. Welcome to Joy for the Journey, the podcast where we explore the winding paths of purpose, faith, and joy. I'm your host, Joy, and I'm thrilled to embark on this transformative journey with you. Are you a woman seeking more than just existence and a soul yearning for fulfillment, purpose, and unwavering joy? Well, you're not alone. In this sacred space, we'll navigate the highs and lows, the doubts and triumphs, and the divine whispers guiding us toward our true calling. Through candid conversations, inspiring stories, and practical insights, Joy for the Journey is your compass, your confidant, and your catalyst for embracing the abundant life God intends for you. So if you're ready to reclaim your joy, renew your hope, and rediscover the woman God created you to be, join me on this adventure. Let's walk together step by step towards a life filled with purpose, passion, and unbridled joy. This is Joy for the Journey. Welcome aboard.